Welcome back to a look at my Virtual Console collection. Today I'm going to be looking at Double Dragon for the Nintendo Entertainment System. The first thing to mention is the first thing you're going to see when you start up the game, and that's the story. Let's have a look. Yep, that's all you need to know. Your girlfriend's been punched in the stomach and taken off. You've got to go rescue her. This game is a side-scrolling beat-em-up. Objective of the game, basically, beat up everyone on screen. The game then tells you when you can move on to the next part of the screen, and it's as simple as that. When you start the game, the first thing you might play about with is what moves you can do. Well, you've got one button for punching, you've got another one for kicking, and press them both at the same time and you jump. That's it. But wait, I hear you ask. In the operations guide there's all these fancy moves and you can do with different button combos. Well, you can't do them at the beginning. That's a unique thing about this game, is you have to earn those moves by attacking people. In the bottom left hand corner you've got that heart, and next to that is a score. You build up your score by attacking people. When you reach 1,000 you'll get an extra heart. When you get an extra heart you can do a different move. First one you learn is the headbutt, and then you can do the most useful move, which is the jump kick, and man, that move is just amazing. Because when you first start you'll notice that the punching isn't as good as the kicking, as the kicking has range, and the jump kick has a lot more range than anything really. As the game goes on you'll learn more moves and you can do all sorts of fancy things then. But unfortunately it can take a while to build up these moves. I mean, I'm unable to get 50,000 on the first screen like that guy in the wizard managed to do. One reason why the jump kick is just so useful are the weapons. Some of the enemies will come on screen with weapons, and some of them have a longer reach than you're punching or even kicking, so it's kinda you're gonna take a beating really. So the jump kick's very useful to knock the weapons out of their hands, then you can pick them up and use them. Look at that, just threw a knife right in his face. Unfortunately, once you've cleared the screen and you're moving on to the next bit, the weapons disappear for some reason, so you can't take them with you. There is a nice range of enemies in this game, all of them doing different things, having different health bars. There are bosses at the end of each stage as well. The graphics in this game aren't bad for an NES game, but they could be better. But there is some nice detail on some of the enemies, like they all look different, it's clear to see what everything is. And there are some nice little touches, like when you throw a bad guy in the river, there's a splash effect. The music isn't too interesting. I'll let you have a little listen while I fight the second boss, and be prepared to watch this epic and intense battle right here. Okay, that's that done. So unlike that boss battle you just saw, the game in general is hard. The first two levels aren't too bad, it's just kill everyone on screen and all that. But then when you get to level 3, that's when the difficulty seems to spike. You'll get tougher enemies, you'll get less room when you go past this river thing. Your first instance of platforming, which I'll get into a bit later, and it's awkward. And then you have 2 bosses to fight at the end. And if you get in the middle of them, you're not going to stand much of a chance. And they dodge your jump kick quite a bit. Once you've done level 3 though, the game goes into a completely different direction. Because level 4 is on a 2D plane, so you can't move up and down on the screen, you have to go left or right. Which is very different, and it makes it a lot harder because that's when the platforming really comes into it, and this is not a platform game. The jumping is awkward because you have to press the 2 buttons, and as you can see here, he's not very versatile with jumping off of things. He's not a born platformer. And there's different doors you can go through, which I just ended up right at the beginning of that level again, and then I just end up dying. And that's as far as I've gotten in the game, because you get 3 lives and that's it. Game over. Once you get game over, you're back at the very beginning of the game. I've not actually found a way to have continues in this game, which would make it a bit more forgiving. It's like Castlevania is very hard, but at least you get unlimited continues, so you can start at the block you got to. But sadly with this game I can't get past level 4 because I just get fed up once I get game over and having to start the whole game again, which is a shame. The only little bit of mercy this game gives you is the fact that when you start a new level you get given full health, no matter how much health you had in the last level. You may notice on the main menu that there is a 2-player mode. Unfortunately the 2-player mode is taking it in turns, so there is no sort of simultaneous co-op, and they're saving that for the sequel. And there is this other mode B, which is more like a beat 'em up, like one-on-one fighting game. Fortunately you got these characters to play as. You have to play as the same character for some reason, and because you're not on a 2D plane, you're on the 3D one, it can be hard to hit each other, so it's not a very good multiplayer mode, but for its time I suppose people would have enjoyed it. Overall, this is a very good game. It's a shame that the multiplayer is lacking, but the single player is good enough, it's solid enough, and getting game over can be annoying, especially because you have to start from the beginning without all your moves. That's the hardest thing to adjust to when starting again. And it's one of those games where if you manage to complete it as one, you can really brag about being able to beat this game because it is that hard. So if you're looking for a really high challenge, I would say go for it. This is definitely worth playing.